Welcome, y'all, to the King Moolah TV podcast. I'm your host, King, if you didn't know that already. But that's fine, because, you could just be tuning into it for the first time. All right, now, so let's just get into it. All right, this topic, I think it really needs to be had because nobody's actually saying anything. Everybody's just distracted by whatever is being fed to them through mainstream media. This is a very important topic because I think a lot of people need to actually consider their future before they go out doing this kind of activity. And the activity I'm talking about is having kids. Okay? Doing the big one. X. Kind of forbidden for certain cultures or whatever. How it was viewed back then, how it's viewed in probably certain places now, or just in certain households, how things run. It's usually forbidden from being talked about for younger people who are in that age group where they start exploring and thinking about things like that and in that nature, but it's not about them. It's about you people, the adults. I guess for most people, they consider adults 18, well, legally anyways. So, let's just jump right into it. Should you have kids? I'm going to ask myself that question. And the answer to that is, right now? No, absolutely not. I am too young for that. I am too young to be having kids, okay? I know what it's like to take care of kids. I've had the experience firsthand how it is taking care of children and seeing the relationships pan out, seeing what needs to be done in order to be a good parent. There's a lot of parents out there that are bad. There's a lot of parents out there that aren't doing what they need to be doing. And there's a lot of neutral parents. They're not good or bad. They're just in the middle. They're not really they're not bad per se, but they're not above and beyond. They're kind of just stuck in the middle. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're better than bad parents for the most part. But, to be a good parent, it takes a lot. And it takes a lot of you realizing your own shortcomings and realizing how your parents raised you and how you either want to instill that into your child or want to avoid it if you came from that type of household, abusive or neglectful or lacking of affection, lacking love. So, do you really want to have children? I say for me, again, I'm gonna point back to me. In this economy, there's just too much. It's just too much right now. There's too much that I'm doing right now, and I'm building right now, that I am setting the foundation, okay, for the rest of my life. Why would I ruin all of that by, starting having kids prematurely? I'm not mature enough to have kids. I'm just going to be honest. I'm not. I am not ready. That's why I take my precautions. I'm not out here willy-nilly, see a beautiful girl. Oh, that's exactly who I'm going to, mess around with, fool around with. I'm not no fool. I don't got time for that. I'm actually very paranoid when it comes to that. I don't want it. I don't know. In the near future, I don't even think so. I'm in between. I don't know if I want to or if I don't want to. On one hand, I do. On the other hand, I really don't. I really don't have a problem not having kids at all. But, we'll see. But it definitely won't be no time soon. I know that for sure. I am not playing no games. I am not playing no games at all. Contraceptives is my friend. It's my best friend. As long as it got me when it's that time to roll, they pulling up. They pulling up. That's all I'm gonna say. They pulling up. They not gonna leave me outside cold in the rain. They're not gonna leave me hanging. They're gonna be there every single time I get down. They're my friends. They're my best friends. My ride or dies. Okay. That's exactly how I look at it when it gets to engaging in those kind of activities. I will not be, I honestly, I think I'm going to be the last person ever in my friend group, maybe on earth, to even think about having a kid. I mean, like, when I say on earth, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like, more so the feeling. Obviously, I can't be the last person on earth to have kids. Otherwise, I mean, it'll just end right there. I mean, humanity would just end right there. So clearly, I'm not saying that to say that the big scheme of things with the 8 billion people on the earth, that I will be the last one out of all of them, because there's kids right now. They're younger than me. I mean, I could outlive them, but I mean, I'm just being honest. Nah. But the feeling of being the very last person out of a friend group or out of your generation to have a kid, I'd probably say I can back that up. Out of my generation, absolutely. Out of Gen Z, yeah. Okay, because I'm too young to be thinking about children right now. I don't even want to think about children right now. I'm too young. I'm like young kid who wants to enter his prime, or who's just not feel like he just started living life in a athletic kid's body. Like, that's really where I'm at with it, where my mindset's at. It's just, there's just so much to learn and there's so much to do, and I'm getting them done day by day, one step at a time, leaving space for me to have fun, but also to get busy, to get to work. So a kid is not gonna make that any better at all. Wow. I said a mouthful, but it was not even enough yet. I mean, I guess I can expand a little more. And this might just be a real short episode for real. I don't know if I can hit it, but we're gonna try. I think there's a lot that goes into having kids. There really is. It would help if I was to talk with somebody on this episode about it. But since I wanted to do it now, there will be some guests. I will try to bring some people on here just so I can make more conversation, like for topics like this, because I mean, honestly, I feel like I just said almost everything, but about everything that I wanted to say. But I mean, there should still be more, because this is I'm just looking at the time right now. It's not at the requirement that I asked for this episode. So I'm going to take it a different way. My 3 main points are almost gone, and just what comes after that. Having kids. Well, they all kind of tie into it. They're like webbed into each other. So like this point supports that point, or it can flow into this point. So I can keep flowing between these things. So other than kids, like, it's just so much that goes into it. The economy right now, listen. The economy right now with having kids, I might just go into a story for real. If I can remember, like, there's just too much. There's just a lot that goes into a kid. So I'll see if I can specify a story, a really good one, or just a good enough one for this episode. This is, wow, just having kids a lot. Just seeing what I've seen for firsthand experience for the past 7, almost 8 years. Well, actually, 8 years. It has been 8 years. but it really haven't been seeing like the big effects in probably 7. But let me say 8 years just so that it makes more sense. It's probably even longer than that. But at the time, it wasn't affecting me because I haven't had the firsthand experience. It was like secondhand, third-hand experience. But at the same time, I was legit. I was a kid. Like, so none of that really mattered as far as I can see it, because it really didn't affect me at the end of the day. It was only temporary. It was only short. Or I actually enjoyed it because it was with people of my own age group, or people I was just a kid, and I didn't have as much responsibility as, that's the word, responsibility. I didn't have much responsibilities at the age of when that was happening for the second-hand or third-hand experience. Oh, actually, it can also be first-hand experience, but not in that way. It's just a lot. Yeah, so I don't know. I babysit kids before as a kid as well. Tall tasks, not really. I mean, we look out for each other. But I mean, at the time, I was like the oldest kid there. So it was a responsibility, but it wasn't that bad because, I mean, we had everything we needed. I just had to make the final decision on what we needed to do. And I wasn't no bad kid. I made sure like everything was placed where they needed to be. Nothing was messed up. Nothing was on the floor. Everything was clean. We made sure, I made sure that everything was like, how the parents left it, or how my family members left it, or friends too. We're responsible for each other. So that's my biggest thing with having kids. At the time, it wasn't that big of a responsibility to me because it didn't feel like a responsibility. But right now, with everything that's going on, with the firsthand experience I have, it's a big responsibility, and it's even bigger when you add multiple kids into it, not just one kid. Having one kid is enough. Having one kid, just one kid, is enough. Oh, I didn't even use what I was supposed to use. Let me do this again. Should you have kids? I'm going to ask this question again. Should you have kids? So it should be either this for you. It should be this one right here. Or it should be this one right here. Whichever one that could be for you, Or it could just be indecisive. I get it, just not right now. Well, but then again, if it's indecisive, then you're leaning towards boo. Because if you're not having it right now, because I'm talking about right now, are you ready to have kids right now? Y'all heard my answer. I am not. I am not ready to have kids right now. I don't even want to think about having kids right now. It's too much stress. And I'm already stressed as it is, okay? I had all this work that I've been putting into to make sure I have the life that I want to live. It takes a lot of work, and I don't want no kid to mess that up. I know, I get it. For some people, kids can be a motivation to do right or to get their life together. Because a lot of people, they don't have no direction or don't know what they want to take until a kid arrives. I get that completely, or at least somewhat. But I can't. No, I need to use myself as motivation. I need my inner drive to push me where I want to go. I need that motivation. And I need to be bringing that back. That motivation that I had around me, that was me getting it in for real. Right now, I just feel like it's kind of waned a bit, but I want to get back to that. I want to get back to that for real. That is exactly what I need to do. That inner drive, that motivation to have. I don't need kids for that. I don't need kids to bring that back. I don't. If anything, I would use it as I use the motivation of what the firsthand experience I had with kids already to drive myself better into not having kids, at least for this time and point. Like you already told you, I'm at this point, it's a no, but I'm cool with not having kids, but I also maybe somewhere in the far future, then when everything is settled, then yeah, I wouldn't mind having kids either. But for right now, no, absolutely not. Like struggling without having kids is different with struggling and having kids. Those are two different battles, and that battle with kids is far greater because listen, adults have a lot more discipline than kids. So, but when a kid needs to eat, needs to drink, needs to do these things at a rapid pace. You can't just make them hold it off for not entirely at least. There's a big difference there. When they need to do it now, they need to do it now. And honestly, I should be including like infants and stuff like that. When they need something now, they need it now. You cannot just ignore that because that would be neglect. And that is not a good sign of a good parent at all. Not only is that, you can get in some serious trouble. You could lose your kid too. You could lose your kid and have them end up in a foster care, group home, whatever that they call it, that term nowadays, because I feel like there was one and the same. I think I was looking it up when in a different episode, or if not, then I was looking it up some other time that probably was around the time when I finished making an episode in the earlier episodes. But let's just be honest, I don't think a lot of people should have kids at all. In this economy, I don't think anybody should be having it, especially if you're depressed or especially just doing it with people you don't actually like. Is that why abortion is so high? Because you're actually trying to have sex raw, and that you have that option to get an abortion. You have that option to just because it's out there, just because you can have kids does not mean you should. I'm gonna say that again, but all together this time. I did a brief pause. Just because you can have kids doesn't mean you should. I really don't think you should have kids. I don't think a lot of people should have kids. I think we should be slowing down on having kids for right now. Well, let's give a gap. Let's give like a 3-year gap where nobody has kids. See how that would happen. See if people would do that, you don't know how much we could change some things. Not having kids for like 3 years, everybody doesn't participate. What would that do to the economy? That'd be amazing. Honestly, I think it would be great because a lot of things honestly would go down. There'd be a lot of things that'd be really cheap. If I'm being honest, if I'm looking at this from an economic standpoint, the supply and demand, the supply is going to go way up. Demand's going to go way down, which means all these items will be cheap. A lot of formula, let's say, what's the formula price right now? And the diaper price right now, like at least $15 at least. I'm like low budgeting it for real. They really in the $20s and $30 range. Even 40, 20, 30, yeah, $20, $30, $40 range. And look how much that would slice back. Even the formula is definitely easily $25. Easily 17, 20, easily $15 to $25. Easily. Imagine how much that price would be slashed when there's not a demand for it anymore. That thing would be like $5. That thing would be even less probably. If for 3 years, nobody has no kid, there's no infants being born for that 3-year period. All the people who already had kids before that 3-year period happened, gone. I mean, whoever just had their kids and that 3 years just started, well, probably it wouldn't change probably to like month 3 or something. Then we really see like there's a decline, and then all the prices go down. Then it'll probably go back up because a lot of people will be friends. The amount of people who already had their 3-month-olds, then up to or their 1-month-old to Oh no. It'll be like a 3 month old if I'm saying it would happen around three. Because I said after they start, if they already had their kids and after the 3 year thing course started, then yeah. So like when I said it'll change around like 3 months, you start see a price drop. Then after that 3 months, it'll probably go back up because of all the people, all the kids, 3 months to a year. Yeah, almost. Yeah, pretty much in between there. 3 months to a year would probably gobble that up for real. Or maybe they'll resell it. But yeah, let's just think about resale value for a second. I don't know. They'll probably be using that like stocks, to be honest. To be honest. And they probably don't even know how to do stocks for real, but they might know the concept of it using something else, using something physical. That'd be interesting, honestly. I like this. I found a new direction I can take because the other ones that I said, oh, I didn't even reach the last point, but maybe I should reach the last point and then circle back to this because I like this. I like this, and I could probably bring in something else too. Oh, man. So the best route for it. Well, there could be a kid episode, but then again, I got to bring in somebody who's already like established as a parent. You know, I already got that firsthand experience, but I need a parent, an actual established parents. I could bring in my parent. Nah, definitely not. I'm cooling. I'm cooling on that. Let me not. Definitely not. I just need somebody who can. I don't know who yet, but I'm definitely gonna brainstorm after this, for sure. Yeah. So let me touch this last point of for this topic, and I'm gonna circle back to what I was talking about with the economic standpoint. All right. Besides having, making kids. Besides making kids, you guys can have your own little alternatives to that. Okay? What can be an alternative to having kids? I already got two listed, and I think those are, two of the most common ones, but the number one most common one is what? Just say it right now. Let's just, I don't know if, you know what? Let me do this really quick. Let me do this. I think, okay, no, that's not the one. Definitely not that one either, but, okay, so let me go to the other one. So the answer to those, right? The answer to that question that I said the alternative. Well, it wasn't even a question. I don't think. The alternative to having kids. What do you think what do you think the most common two that I'm about to say is going to be? That's the question. Okay. Two common ones. I mean, the number one most common one is, let me see. I don't know why I don't have it or why I can't search it. It's so weird. But, okay. I'll just play it or play something that is closely related. If I can, if they'll let me. I don't get it. Okay. Weird, but okay. We'll just go with pets because I can't find this. I was going to use a sound effect for it, but apparently that wasn't coming. That wasn't ready when I needed it, so yeah. I'll just wait. Yeah, I'll just say it. The number one being pets. Okay, here we go. Let me see if you can hear it. You can't hear it at all. What in the world? Let me see. Let me turn this up. Let me see. Damn, that cat sounds bad. What about this one? was it. Okay, let's try this dog. Okay. Yeah, pets. Cats, dogs, hamsters, farm animals for some people, exotic animals for other people. I don't know. Any type of pet that you think that you should have. That's an alternative to having a kid. That's a big alternative, actually. Because for people who want their kids to be dependent on them forever, a pet will always be dependent on you. Always. So that's the route that you can take. The second most common thing is, and I think a lot of people don't really do it and should start doing it, we got a bunch of kids already out in this world, okay? A lot of them are unloved. A lot of them don't have homes. And mainly what I'm talking about is kids in foster care and group homes and stuff like that. Kids that need to be adopted, okay? There's plenty of kids out in the system in the U.S. alone. There's a big, overwhelming amount of them. And if you really want kids, or you can't have kids because of medical reasons or health reasons, whatever the case may be, not here to judge or saying anything like that, but this is your alternative. It's to adopt the kids already. Adopt them. But that's only if you're ready to have kids. It's that if you're ready to take care of them, to nurture them, to be their parent, to be, their role models and what they can be out in the world. Adopt it. Or, I guess another example is an inanimate object you can call your pet, or you can call your kid, weirdly enough. Yeah, that's also another one, but, nobody's really doing that for real. But yeah, like those two main ones. Pets and foster children, or I think foster kids or fostering children, which means, isn't fostering adopting them though? Okay, so I looked up alternatives to having kids, right? They say foster and adoption, they separate them. You can separate them for technicality, but to distinguish what both of them are. But honestly, if fostering children is not making you fostering children. If you were to foster children, that means you'd be a foster parent, which is still technically your legal guardian. But adopting them is actually making them your parent and legal guardian, but also them calling you their mom and dad instead of being a foster parent, where I guess kids don't do that. I don't know why they put surrogacy in it. That's not really having a kid. That's just you being a surrogate women being surrogates for the expecting couple. And that really doesn't make any sense to be an alternative to having kids, because after surrogacy, that's not any. You're still single. You're still not a parent. Adopting pets or having pets, you can adopt pets too. I know there's a lot of people out here breeding, but adopt a pet. Make it better for that system as well. I know they're overwhelmed too. Y'all do that. Y'all can do that. Alternatives. Why is egg donation a part of this? That's not even traveling, volunteer to babysit. Oh, getting relevant experience to having kids. That's a good one. That's a really good one out of this one. That's a really good one that I didn't bring up. Volunteering to babysit to see if you got what it takes to be a parent. Because there's a lot of people out here who do not have what it takes to be a parent, but yet they're having kids. Why? What is wrong with you people? There's therapy. You can do therapy as well. There's alternative to having kids. You can be a coach, a mentor. See if you can mentor young kids. You can do that. Just make sure you got the proper paperwork and make sure you're not insane, right? Like, make sure you're not insane. Like, I'm being serious. Like, make sure you up there mentally. Make sure you have a good head on your shoulders. You can volunteer at a youth-oriented organization. You can involve yourself with the youth around you. You can open your home temporarily for like kids who are on school exchanges and require temporary housing. Yeah, stuff like that. There's a lot of things you can do as alternatives to having kids. You can see like the kids of today, the kids already that are out here, they need a lot of mentoring. They need coaches. They need role models. They need help. You don't have to actually have kids of your own. I get it. You know, you want to live up to maybe your parents' expectations or, society expectations, but you can do a lot without actually physically having kids yourself, without them physically being in your home and eating up your food and blowing, like, turning your finances into shambles. There's a lot you can do out here. There's a lot you can do out here. Where was I? There's so much to do without having kids. You can be free. I need to be free for a while, okay? I need that freedom from everything. I need to travel. I need to go do a little more living. I got to live a lot more before I even think about having kids. Kids is definitely not where I want to stop. Definitely, I don't want to bring no kid into this situation that I'm in. I don't want to bring no kid into this. It's not going to be a motivation for me. It might cripple me, but then again, it might not, because, if I have to live for somebody else, I don't want to be so attached to kids right now. I've been attached, and it's not a nice feeling when they can leave, because I get that part too, and that can be another episode as well, being attached to kids. Probably how teachers feel, or coaches or mentors who mentored kids from the ground up, and actually care about them. And actually care about kids, and want to see them want them to be successful. That's important, man. Because having a kid, you got to have that mindset to where you're ready for them. You got to be prepared, at least. Not saying you're gonna get it all right, but the mistakes won't be bad. They won't be trauma-filled, negatively trauma-filled. They're just going to be like little mistakes here and there. They're not going to be something crazy. They're not going to install a cycle of trauma with the next generation. This is going to be real. They're going to be brought into a loving home and being heard and being affectionate towards them and nurturing them up and having them understand the world around them and having them understand, having them be able to be somebody, letting them figure who they are, letting them grow into the person that they are going to be, letting them be the best version of themselves and letting them see the worst, but also letting them understand the lessons that are involved, letting them be human, letting them be, not cutting them off to their emotion, not letting them suppress their emotions. There's a lot that goes into raising another human, raising another kid. It is not easy. And a lot of mothers and a lot of fathers would tell you that. So don't just be having kids all willy-nilly. Even if you're depressed, a kid's not going to solve your depression. You're actually going to put the kid through depression. Don't do that. Handle what you need to get your mental right first, Don't traumatize your kid because you didn't do the necessary work to make sure that they have a loving environment. There's a lot of unloving. There's a lot of twisted environments that kids are going through right now, right as I'm speaking. And I've seen and I've heard bits and parts of it. And there's a lot that goes on. Like, there's a lot of kids are probably the most talked about kids are pretty much bullied, but this isn't the episode for that. Kids are being bullied, but since it mentions kids, I can mention it. Kids are being bullied at home by whether it's their the parents, extensive family members, aunts, uncles, cousins, whoever. Like, they just need a loving home, and they need to be heard, and they need to be able to be human, to be mad, be happy, and be sad, but also it being controlled, and them knowing that it's okay to have all those feelings, because that's how you develop, and that's how you distinguish what's right for you. You got to understand that a lot of these kids are not getting that. They're getting neglected, or they're getting abused a lot of the times. So should you really be having kids? If you feel like you think that you're not going to abuse them, or if you see an old, outdated style of parenting, like, your parenting style matters too. It really does matter. A lot of people think gentle parenting is new. It's not. They think gentle parenting is passive parenting. It's not. Two different styles of parenting. Gentle parenting is allowing the kids to fully express themselves without getting punished for fully expressing themselves. Okay? You got to give kids that type of grace and space, because the world is cruel. You don't have to be cruel in your own household to your kid that you brought up, that you raised. Just understand that they need to express their feelings too. Otherwise, they're going to suppress it, and otherwise, that would stack on trauma, negative trauma. So let me just tell y'all this. Do you really want to have kids? And if you do, should you have kids? Look at your environment right now. Look at your life right now. Do you think a kid's going to make that better? Like, seriously, do you really think a kid's going to make that better? Or is it going to motivate you to do better? If those answers are no, don't have no kids. I'm being serious. Do not have kids if you are not ready. If it's not going to make you become a better person, at the end of the day, you got 9 months to think about that if you already done the do. Because you shouldn't be bringing no kid to no abusive household, no messed up environment. Get it together. Get it all the way together. And also be a parent that allows, that doesn't take their kid's side when they're wrong. Okay? If they're wrong, if they're hurting other kids, you can discipline them. You need to discipline them, because taking their side and then not properly disciplining them at home, like, I get it, is certain things should be private. They should privately be scorned, but no, publicly let them know. They did this stuff publicly. So make sure you publicly tell them to get it together. And then you can move forward on privately explaining why this stuff isn't okay. Talking to them like they're human, talking to them like they're little people, because they are little people, and they're our future. That's what one of them quotes say, right? The children are our future. They sure are. And bringing them into these households is not helping us at all. I'm being serious. It's not helping. We got to get it together, y'all, because y'all having kids all willy-nilly and then expecting everybody else to pay for it. No. We don't want to do that. We don't want to pay for it. Why are y'all doing that to us? Why are y'all messing up society by bringing in kids that are going to be lacking parental figures, a father figure, a maternal figure, lacking a father, lacking a mother, lacking a nurturing environment? You're bringing them into a really bad situation, and honestly, we got to do better. Y'all really have to do better, okay? As society, for the greater good, we're trying to make society better. Just bringing out kids who are going to not understand the way the world works and not be better for the greater good or to help make society better, but they're going to be society's detriment or causing all this willy-nilly bad stuff to happen. That's not good, and we got to do better. So, should you have kids? I'll say this again. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. All right? So, that's pretty much what I'm going to end off with. Should you have kids? Really think about it. Really digest and really understand what that question means and what it will mean for you in your livelihood. How is it going to fit your lifestyle? How is it going to, how will it change it? These are the questions you guys should be asking for real. Because this is crazy. Y'all just having kids all willy-nilly. I wouldn't dare try to have kids all willy-nilly. That can't be me. That can't be life. That's not life to me. It's making yourself and the kid pay the price. Pay a steep price, a bad price for something that could have been prevented. For something that could have been avoided completely. Abstinence, 100% y'all should be practicing. Y'all need to control them urges. Stop listening to music that makes you want to do. Stop watching TVs that make you want to do. Or stop letting it affect you so much. Get it together, y'all. Get it together. Stop drinking so much. Stop doing it. Stop having drunk do, okay? Excuse me. Stop having drunk sex. If you're not married or anything like that, stop. If you're not ready, stop just wanting to have kids. Stop having drunk, not really having drunk sex, but having unprotected sex under the influence. Whether just having unprotected sex in general, whether it's under the influence or not, no, don't do it no more. Get it together. Abstinence is the way. Okay? Or just, self-pleasuring. You think that's not enough. I don't think y'all love yourselves enough to do self-pleasuring by yourself for years upon years. Why do you have to be with somebody else for right now? Just, stay solo, get it together, get your life together. And if you guys are already in relationships, make sure y'all getting yourself together for the relationship if y'all want to take it a step further. Because just doing that all willy-nilly, unprotected, is a very lousy decision. It's a bad decision, counterproductive, more than likely it will be. And it's going to make your life very, very stressful. I've seen this firsthand, so I'm not just saying it. I've seen it firsthand, and it's not good. You're going to go through it. And the kid does not deserve to go through all of that just because you couldn't keep your legs closed or keep it in your pants. Should you have kids? Now I'm really going to end it for real. Should you have kids? I say no. But unless you're actually ready, just make sure you're prepared. Make sure you're prepared with everything that you need to bring that child into a loving environment. Child or children into a loving environment, If you're willing on having multiple kids, if you're willing to have one kid, just make sure you're ready. All right? So I'm going to end off with that. You guys, stay hydrated. Be kind to people. It's a Friday. I'm kind of hungry. I need to eat something. So, yeah, I definitely want to end off at this note. So you guys, get something to eat. Hydrate, fast, whatever you do. Eat nutritious foods. Avoid junk food. Avoid fast food if you can. And do better. That's all I'm asking. It's just do better. All right? So we all need to do better. We all need to do better, all right? So that's my time. This is the King Mullah TV podcast. And I'm out of here.